If you've been hearing about the benefits of microgreens and you're curious to learn about them, you've come to the right place. In this series, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about microgreens, including what they are, why they're so beneficial, and how you can grow them. So a little bit about me. My name's Seth Davis, and I've been farming and gardening for over 15 years now. From backyard homesteading, to managing a nonprofit community farm, to starting a for-profit family farm, I've acquired a lot of knowledge over the years when it comes to growing food. And I find a lot of fulfillment in sharing this knowledge with other growers. So whether you're just starting out on your own journey or you've been gardening for a long time now, my hope is that this series can empower you to start growing your very own superfood, microgreens, right in the comfort of your own home. Microgreens are essentially tiny little plants that are harvested just after the first 2 leaves are formed. These are referred to as the seed leaves or cotyledons. If left to grow longer, the plants go to form the next set of leaves called the true leaves. At this point, the microgreens tend to become a little more fibrous and start to lose some of that sweetness they're known for. If you've spent any time in the health and wellness world, you've likely heard a lot of talk about sprouts. And it's important to understand the difference between sprouts and microgreens. Sprouts are generally grown in jars of water and are consumed whole, meaning you eat both the seed and the emerging sprout. Unlike microgreens, sprouts are ready to be eaten before the leaves are fully formed. Another difference between sprouts and microgreens is that microgreens are typically grown in trays of soil or some kind of grow mat. They're also grown beyond the sprouting stage, which means they require a source of light to green up that first set of tiny leaves. And when harvested, they're cut just above the soil level, leaving behind the seed and the roots. Now that we've established what they are, we can move on to why you should grow them. Unlike growing vegetable plants to maturity, microgreens can be harvested in just 1 to 2 weeks from the time of planting. Take broccoli for example. It can take 60 to 80 days to grow a mature broccoli plant. Broccoli microgreens, however, only take 7 to 9 days until they're ready for harvest. This means you could grow up to 10 cycles of broccoli microgreens in the same amount of time it would take to grow just 1 mature broccoli plant. Not only do microgreens produce a harvest in an incredibly short period of time, they require very little space. So keeping with our broccoli example, a mature broccoli plant will need about 2 feet in each direction in a garden bed to produce just 1 head of broccoli. It would also need a significant volume of nutrient-rich soil to adequately feed the plant for the duration of its lifespan, which can be multiple months. Broccoli microgreens, on the other hand, require just a fraction of the space and a fraction of the soil. Microgreens are most commonly grown in standard nursery trays, just 10 inches wide and 20 inches long. They only require about 3.5 quarts of soil per tray. One 10-20 tray can produce up to 300 grams of broccoli microgreens. Unlike a mature plant that requires nutrients from the soil to produce a quality harvest, microgreens for the most part have all the nutrients and energy they need within the seed itself. If you pause to think about it, seeds are pretty amazing, jam-packed with all the energy and nutrients to jumpstart what will ultimately become a full-sized plant or tree. So when we consume microgreens, we're actually consuming highly concentrated doses of nutrients that would have ordinarily gone on to produce an entire plant. When you think about it this way, eating microgreens is like the ultimate biohack. Going back to our broccoli example, broccoli microgreens contain 10 to 100 times the amount of nutrients as compared to a mature broccoli. They also have the ability to produce high concentrations of sulforaphane, one of the most powerful bioactive compounds found in foods. Sulforaphane protects our cells from carcinogens, aging, inflammation, and many other ailments. Polyphenols are another powerful compound found in high concentrations in broccoli and many other microgreens. Polyphenols have been associated with preventing several chronic diseases, such as cardiovascular disease, obesity, and cancers. In addition to these powerful bioactive compounds, broccoli microgreens are loaded with calcium, vitamin C, vitamin A, and iron. All this to say, if you really want to take control of your health, growing microgreens is a great place to start. You can add them to sandwiches, salads, wraps, tacos, smoothies, you name it. Or like many upscale restaurants, you can add them as a garnish to just about any plate and take your meal from looking ordinary to gourmet. Another nice aspect to microgreens as compared to the mature counterpart is that there's no washing or chopping when it comes to meal prep in the kitchen. You just harvest them and add them directly to your dish. And when you're growing them yourself, you know you're getting the maximum nutrition when you eat them directly after harvest. Most greens and vegetables you buy in the grocery store have been harvested weeks before, and they've already lost a significant amount of the vitamins and minerals as compared to when they were first harvested. Another huge advantage to growing microgreens is that you don't need access to land like you would to plant a traditional garden. And unlike your backyard garden, they can be grown indoors all year long. You can accomplish this by growing them in trays on shelving racks with LED grow lights, or you can just grow them right on your kitchen counter if you have windows with good sun exposure. In general, microgreens thrive in the same indoor climate as us humans, with their ideal temperature range being between 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit with a 40 to 60% humidity level. If you can get close to these conditions in the part of your home where you plan to grow microgreens, they should do well. 14 to 16 hours of light per day is ideal for growing microgreens. Less than that will still work, but it will slow the rate of growth. When you're deciding what part of your house to grow microgreens in, take into account the fact that there may be occasional spills of water and potting mix to deal with. A countertop or table surface that can be easily wiped up is ideal. And if possible, a room with a sealed floor that can easily be cleaned is definitely a plus. Now that we've covered what exactly microgreens are, how they're beneficial for your health, and why you should even bother growing them, in the next video, I'll go over all the supplies you'll need to get you started on growing your own. And from all of us here at Modern Grower, we wish you the best on your growing journey.